podcast. My name's Jeff, and we are laughing about something that just happened that you don't know about, but I'm leaving it in anyway because it made us chuckle. So his name is Paul, and
Yes.
how are you this evening?
Yeah, very good, mate. Yeah, I won't do that again.
No. And I'm very pleased to welcome back our good friend, Mr. Al Dewar. How are
Yeah.
you this evening?
I'm good, very good. I'm like Paul, I'm very good. I'm okay.
Excellent.
Nice
Good
to
to know.
have you
Everyone's
back.
good. We're all good.
It feels, it feels like forever since we've done
it's
this,
been a
and yeah.
Yeah. We need to get back into the habit of it, but life gets in the way a bit, doesn't it? And can't do next week, can't do the week after, and suddenly a month's gone by, and it's sort of how it goes, really. Sometimes, isn't it? But
It is. Life does get in the way, but also you've had some very exciting guests on, and I've been watching them, so I've been really enjoying those.
Oh yeah,
You've-
brilliant.
You've done. I've really been tuning in.
Oh, lovely.
That's
yeah,
what
so
we like to hear. Tune in.
You've texted me a few times to say, "Oh, I've been listening to this and that," and so that's always nice. Yeah. So, it's great to have you back. So thanks for making time.
Another fabulous guest right here.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So we were going to do an episode commentary tonight, but before we started recording, we decided we were going to sack that off and just talk about stuff, because we thought people might find that a bit more interesting and enjoyable. So
I love it when you lift the curtain on our magic, Jeff. It's just brilliant.
Yeah. This morning at half
We
8,
had
I
a
was
bit of a
tensing
chat
out.
about 5 minutes ago and threw the plan that we made 10 minutes ago out of the window in favour for something else.
Yeah, I texted
Basically.
Al this morning. What should we do this evening? Dunno. I'll ask Paul. Dunno.
Yeah, the magic. Well, I'm with Paul. The magic's gone. We
Yeah.
might as well
Yeah,
be
it's,
this in now.
it's like the Wizard of Oz in reverse, isn't it,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's planned, isn't it? And other times it just, it's mates having a chat, and hopefully people enjoy it as well. So, but I
In
am.
fairness, as long as you don't go off on one about the new Avatar movie, we'll all be quite
We'll all be
happy.
good, yeah.
Well,
And we know it's coming. We know it's coming. It's inevitable,
I
isn't
don't
it?
yet.
Wait till
I
it's
don't
out
yet
there.
have the. I don't yet have the figures, but
That'll be a
then
beautiful
hopefully
moment when that happens.
they're shipping next week, hopefully. So we'll see. I saw them on eBay from the States, but I thought I'm not paying 40 quid shipping.
Already?
Yeah, well, they're sort of appearing in the
They've
shops
been out
out
there, yeah.
Yeah, but the McFarlane store hasn't started shipping them. Yeah,
Have you already thrown all your Doctor Who ones off? Just push them off the end.
Clear
Made
the
of
space.
Well, I thought about it. I thought, get rid of them, but you can see a little bit behind. I'm going to have a rearrange, but I will be keeping my Doctor Who stuff because how can I get rid of that? I've got a shelf just behind me here with books and stuff on, so I'm going to probably shift that one around and move my old Avatar figures into another section. Yeah,
The
So-
moment has been
I'm
prepared
excited.
for.
That I'd been, about a year ago. I was like, oh, eventually I'll get the Fire and Ash figures, and I'll have to reorganise things. And now it's coming. And look at that! I'm talking about it.
You
You
set
wanna
him
make
off
some
out.
little-
Why did you mention
make
the
some
A
little-
word?
Little
He's already gone.
dioramas
We're only
together.
2 minutes in,
And just-
and now it's like half an hour already.
Yeah,
I knew. I thought we might as well get it out.
Might as well actually, yeah. Get it over and done with.
You know.
Yeah. Okay. But there have been some
Well,
new figures released from you
Yes.
guys, have there not? Very recently, indeed. That been causing quite a stir online. I think everybody seems to be really impressed by them.
Yes,
Or
that's
him,
right.
even.
The Anthony Ainley Master figure has come out, and it was a character online exclusive. And yeah, I think Paul's right to say, fantastic response. I'm just modelling my one here, as you can see. So that's right. The postman has failed to deliver for me.
What
So,
Jeff is trying to say, everyone, is that I got the address wrong.
no, it was my old one, my old office, and they tried to deliver it, but I'm not there anymore, and so I've rescheduled it, but it hasn't turned up today. So hopefully tomorrow it will arrive. But Paul fortunately has one, which he's showing off. So yeah, it's had a fantastic response. Al, have you seen some of the chat about it and people's pictures, and how are you feeling?
I haven't. I've kind of removed myself from a lot of the chat. I think we've chatted about this in the past. There's a lot of chat coming in this. Chatted about chat.
Chat about
in the past. And I I find it's quite often a double-edged sword. And I've said it before. You'll get 5 or 6 lovely comments, and then somebody will say something pretty depressing, and it kind of brings you back down to earth with that. So in this particular case, I haven't really. I haven't really. I mean, a lot of people have said really nice things, which is good, and I'm very pleased with it. I think I said in another sort of podcast thing that, I wish I'd done some things differently, and I do, but in reality, that's the same with all figures. You always kind of look at it and think, oh, I could have done that different, and this might be a bit, this could have been done a bit differently. But in general, yeah, I really liked it. I was quite interested to hear what. Yeah, and it's a shame you didn't get it, but Paul especially, I kind of was interested because I know his affinity for classic Who, and I wasn't sure if it had lived up to expectations.
Yeah, no, it absolutely does.
Just kind of...
his face is brilliant. I mean, it is Anthony Ainley. There's no two ways about it. You know what I mean? I think it's great. There's detail on the collar, as you can see there. That's a lovely little detail. Even that little motif on the back from Traken, it's brilliant. I love it. I really do. And the thing is, as well, as you well know, he's also got another head. So he's actually wearing second head at the moment, which is kind of a gleeful.
That's the most disturbing thing about it is that, much like the meat, you don't really have anywhere to store that second head. So I've seen people put it in the casket that comes with the Master,
yes.
and sort of just have it sitting on top of a TARDIS, stuck on the lamp, and on top of the column. And I think this has become a bit of a double-edged sword here, because we've got.
But no, you don't want to lose the disembodied head. I mean, the thing is, as well, is that you can recreate the regeneration sequence from the Caves of Androzani by sticking it on a pencil and just revolving it around, going, "No, die, Doctor! Die, Doctor! Die, Doctor!" But this one is the "Oh, my dear Doctor, you have been naive."
I like endless. I'm pulled to the grin head more.
Yeah, the grinning head. Yeah,
and that's not to diminish it. I think a lot of people have said the sort of classic. I mean, a lot of people associate the line with that sort of very neutral expression, and the sort of and it has a very sort of matter of fact, and it still looks very masterful.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
The number one rule used to be for us, don't show the teeth, and it was one of those ones where it's kind of like, I got to show the teeth, because it was just such a thing about Anthony Ainley.
It's part of the character, isn't it? But he's got his cheekbones as well. I mean, his cheekbones stand out. It just, I think the likeness is brilliant on both the heads. It really is. And we've got two tissue compression eliminators. I'm modelling the open version, but there's also one where it's kind of closed up as well, isn't it? So you could have some fun with that.
Small, I had to kind of do both, and I fought tooth nail for that, because every time I saw the CAD, they were like, "What about this?" And I was like, "Well, that looks rubbish." And then I sort of like say, "Can't we do this?" And they'd be like, "No."
Yeah.
I was like, "Well, can't we do this?" And then when you fight long enough and people just give up.
Yeah, fight long enough and hard enough, and they just do it.
Yeah, I think they literally just sort of gave up. And that collar that you were pointing out, that was the bit that gave us the most hassle. And I was kind of like, it's literally the only bit of color on that entire suit. Everything is black. So I was like, we've got to get that right, because if we screw that, what the hell are we doing here?
It's really lovely.
Both head sculpts new.
Yes. So Ed Barnett Ward did one. He did the more neutral one, and Andrew Teal from Designworks did the grinning head. Ed did most of the main body. He did the arms and the jacket, and he did the original set of hands, and also I think the lower legs are different, so he also would have done the lower legs. But then, because I wanted the second head, I commissioned Andrew to do the grinning head for me, which doesn't happen often. You don't always get a sort of hybrid happen like that, but we sort of did. And then, weirdly, the tissue... No, it's weird, because Ed said he gave me CAD with the tissue compression eliminator held forward.
This one?
I think maybe our engineers made a mistake, because when I saw it first, that it was sort of sticking up like he was holding a sonic screwdriver, and I sort of said, "Oh, we need the hand." So I got Andrew to do a new set of hands. So
Ah,
it's a sort of mixed bag, but they both sort of contributed massively to it. And what I like about it is that both heads look and feel like they're kind of the
But
same.
yeah, they do. Yeah,
They're
yeah.
not drastically different in the sense of, you kind of, I mean, they are different because obviously one's grinning and one's static, but they both really work with the rest of the figure.
Yeah.
So I was quite happy with it.
And that's quite interesting what you said there about don't show the teeth, because a lot of action figures, it's always quite neutral, isn't it? So, I have a few hot toys and still keep an eye on the line there. And yeah, a lot of the figures that it's a neutral expression, or they added quite a lot of rolling eyes now, so you can lift up the back of the head up and move them around, a bit like Paul's doing there, our Action Man type thing. But occasionally they'll have a head sculpt that comes out. They did one for Margot Robbie from Birds of Prey, I think it was. And she had a big open mouth and kind of her eyes were wide and sort of this sort of smile, and it was a really good sculpt, and it really kind of packed quite a lot of life in. But what's your view on it, Al? Because sometimes it just doesn't work, does it? Or you have to have it at a specific angle to.
Yeah, this is part of the problem, that the reason it doesn't work, and it doesn't work particularly well on small figures, is you have to those Hot Toys figures, they essentially back mount the teeth, so the teeth are a separate component basically put in, because you can open up the back of those heads. So it's easy at that scale for them to do. But when we first started, it was kind of like everything's so tiny, and the idea of trying to sort of make a separate back of the head and then put a set of teeth in and whatever, so we were kind of shied away from it. But with certain, I mean, if it's a true open mouth expression, it's difficult to do it in the scale that we deal
interesting.
with. In molded plastic. Yeah, I mean, you've got a 3D printer or whatever, you can do it, because you don't have to worry about undercuts and stuff to a degree. But yeah, so because his sneer, as I call it, was a kind of, he was lucky that he could kind of the way he did that. His top row of teeth essentially were front and center. But it is interesting, if you look at the sculpt, the original 3D sculpt.
Yeah,
he has much deeper little caves on either side of the teeth. And actually, one of the problems I ran into when we were decorating it was those caves became shallower, and they decorated the teeth really wide. So he ended up with a sort of riling kind of grin going on.
imagine that.
So I was literally kind of like, don't paint these bits, just leave these blank, just do the teeth to there. But yeah, I mean, I like it, and there's asymmetry in there. I mean, if you look at the beard's asymmetric, but that's just most faces are slightly asymmetric, so you get a variance. But I was sort of really pleased with the face on that one.
Yeah, it's good.
I thought it came out really well. I think there was a little bit of discussion about the accessories that came with it, but
because I guess having the casket from the TV movie is could be considered a little bit cheeky, but then why not, really?
Well, it is a little bit. I suppose it's to do with my head canon, and it was a bit cheeky, but in my head canon, Anthony Ainley is the I know it's not played by the same guy, but in my head canon, Anthony Ainley's the guy that gets exterminated at the beginning of the TV movie.
Yeah.
And that tends to be the way it's presented in other places. They tend to say this is the linear progression of the Master.
See, that works for me. I'm more than happy with that.
It works for me, but it doesn't work for everybody. So
you just get one of these bad boys coming in to shoot him. That's all it is, when he's surrounded in the cage.
So is that casket new as well, or is that an older piece?
Yeah, no, the casket's new. That was done by Nick at our place, and we fiddled with that for ages. You would think it was relatively easy, but actually
it's got quite a bit of detail on it, isn't it?
It's got a lot of detail. Yeah. We've got
a lot of detail, and it was a bit of a pig We had to move the handle. I mean, it's not quite as literal to the prop as would have liked, but just because of the way it's molded, we had to kind of move the handles out a little bit. But I love it. I think it looks
I think it's
Yeah,
great.
it's really good.
Yeah. I like the little lock on it as well. And of course, you know, it's good because on the inside, you can keep your other bits in. See? Not
can
quite
keep
enough room for the extra head, but there's room for the other bits. So that's kind of cool. And then we got
There's
this
room for your morphant death snake.
this little piece as well.
Yes, that's the little bit that you see Sylvester walking down the TARDIS with. I would and really would love to do a TV movie master. That might prove a bit difficult. I think there's some issues with that, but I would dearly love to. So that's the other reason I did it, is I'm generally
kind of pushing in that.
Yeah.
Can we do this? Can we do this?
You never know. You never know what happened. Yeah. I mean, he has been playing the Master back on Big Finish, hasn't he? So you never know.
Yes,
Might be.
He has been. Yeah.
Depends whoever else wants to cut.
Really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I like that iteration of the Master. I was up in a discussion with somebody else about that, and I sort of said, you know, the Ainley Masters, he's I don't know. He's the best known. The Jacoby Master is the one I like probably the most, because he's so manipulative. And I was listening to it today, and it was his greatest trick. And that is, if you haven't, I always say the same thing, Big Finish. If you haven't listened to it, go and listen to it, because they're fabulous. But his manipulation of people and his callous disregard for people, he just throws them under the bus, having got what he wants. But then that leads us into the TV Master, as played by Eric Roberts. He's just playing out and out, kind of like bang. He's utterly ruthless. So they're both quite. But what I like about, for me, the progression of the Master. Delgado and then Anthony Ainley as this sort of arch villain, the guy who's as easily as clever as the Doctor. They went to the academy together. They're both absolutely brilliant. One became a benevolent sort of fixer,
do-gooder,
and the other one becomes an evil interferer and kind of arch manipulator. And there's not a fag packet between them, and I kind of quite. There's a counterpoint for every type of Doctor with every type of Master. The clown, the sort of, Missy's kind of like the frivolous. Oh, he's dead. Doesn't it matter? And then,
that was really good. I thought she was in a room with us right there. Amazing.
So, I think that's brilliant. That's why I've always, I always say, the as lovely as they were, the John Sim interpretation of the Master, especially when he came back the second time, and then the one during the 13th Doctor, the Sacha Dhawan Master, just a little bit too unhinged.
A bit too unhinged.
Properly mental.
Yeah.
In a way that doesn't feel quite as, and that's just personal preference. Just you like what you like, and that kind of manipulative one-upmanship.
I should have brought it down actually. There's a Doctor Who novel by. Oh my goodness! I'll think of the name. So I've just thought about it. It's a story. It's a story about the Master. And I'm gonna have to Google it, because I'm normally in my little room and I've got all of these things to hand, but I don't have it to hand at the moment. Hold on. So wait a sec. It is Alistair Reynolds, isn't it? There you go. Yes.
Yeah.
The Harvest of Time. There you go. I knew it'd come to me, which is an astonishing. I don't want to give the plot away, but. Needless to say, there are multiple incarnations of the Master making an appearance of that, and it's brilliant. There's a lot more to it. That makes it sound like a cheap plotline hook, But
No,
Alistair
not at
Reynolds
all.
is a really clever science fiction author, and he's built a reason into it for that to happen, and it's just astonishingly good. It's well worth a read. If you love the Master, you have to read
No,
that book.
I would love to read that because there's a Big Finish one that's very much the same
Is that
thing.
Masterful? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
I think so. Is it
Yeah.
the Big Finish one? That's
I'm
a
not
Big
sure.
Finish story,
It's
though,
one
isn't
where
it?
the Master basically succeeds in sort of destroying everything else. He gets
Yeah.
Daleks, he destroys them, he kind of ends up being the master of a relatively empty universe, and then all these incarnations turn up to basically say, you royally fucked this.
Now you got what you want.
You might want to undo it, kind of thing, and sort of gently prod them back in a different direction. It's
I haven't listened to that yet. Actually, it sounds intriguing.
That's really good, and that sounds like it's in a very similar sort of vein to that. And I think it's I mean, that book sounds really interesting because I like when we're used to multi-doctor stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, this is way before I mean, it was written a long time before we had lots and lots of Masters. I think John Sim was just about around then, but nobody afterwards. So we had Derek Jacobi, obviously, and then John Sim, and I think that was when it was kind of written. I think you'll also like it, Al, because it's a third Doctor story, and the way, and certainly the first half of the novel, the way that it's set, it just feels like a third Doctor story. It's got everything. It's got everything it needs to plant it right within the middle of that era with Joe Grant and Pertwee, and it's just brilliant. Honestly, I'm definitely sure you'll love it, and I'd love to hear what you think.
Yeah, no, that sounds exactly my cup of tea.
The Harvest of Time.
I think I saw someone had done some pictures with the figure and that book that I saw on Twitter. Yeah, I think
interesting.
I saw that. Yeah. So, Paul, have you got the TARDIS there?
Oh yeah, I do. The column. Ta-da!
Dun, dun,
Dun dun dun. It's got a hole in it. Is there a reason for a hole in the bottom? It stands on something, or
It
just?
is. It's the way it's made. It's called rotor casting. It's the way they make dolls' heads. Basically, they have a steel mold that looks horrible, and they pour
chuck it
PVC in it, and then they cook it, and then when that hole is literally, they open a little hatch.
Yeah.
Somebody at the factory sticks their finger in and pulls the whole
plug
out through that tiny little aperture, and then to stop it sort of sucking and caving in on itself.
Right.
I've made it sound like a flashlight now, haven't I?
Well, it's right for putting things in. That's all I'm thinking of. Storage. I'm very, very short on storage space. So
what you store
I
in
will
there,
literally
Paul,
use everything.
is up to you.
Yeah. But again, there's a lot of detail on this, isn't there?
One of the most entertaining things about going to any plastics factory is just the sheer amount of sex toy, flesh color, pink color plastic that they keep around in these factories, and you go like, "What else are you making?
Yeah.
You're making action figures for me. I'm clearly making something far more interesting somewhere else."
Don't like to ask.
I hope they don't mix them up and ship them out.
Yes, you don't want that.
Don't want that on the shelves of a toy shop, do you? Really? Well, different sort of toy shop, I guess. But
so the response was really good to the figure. How's it sold? It's still available on the website, isn't it? But good sales on it.
It's sold really well. There was the usual sort of what always happens is we get an immediate flurry of people that are very, very interested and buy it up. And then there's the people that are on the fence, and then there's the people that are really it's a big money commitment and it's an end of the month thing, and most people get paid at the end of the month. So what we tend to find is big flurry, little drop off. Then when the reviews start to come in, that also kind of tempts people to kind of go and go looking for them. So I think we're I haven't checked, but I know as of end of last week, I think we're about 2,500 on like the Friday afternoon. So I imagine
Oh wow.
it's sort of still going strong. It's an interesting thing with all the releases to see what the reactions like and what the take up's like. And I think it's a truism to say that most people at the moment are finding spending on little luxuries or even big
Tricky.
luxuries
Yeah.
tricky and harder. I don't think anybody's got the same amount of spare cash that they did. It's a bit volatile. The US market interest, I think, is down. I don't know whether that's I don't know why that should be, but interest from that side and trying to get product into the US market with tariffs and
Well,
stuff.
exactly.
We kind of went out of our way to try and help the US side out on pricing, which under any normal circumstances we would have done because we essentially take the orders in the UK, consolidate the orders, send them to the US, and dispatch them through local post, and that should have been cheaper. But now this year we got tariffs on top of, so where we would have been saving people a big chunk of money, we're saving them a modicum of money. So they're still finding it expensive, as are people in Australia. You know, I've got my mates in Australia that kind of just go, geez, by the time, right, when we pay VAT, then we pay shipping, then we pay import tax, and then we pay, domestic mail.
It stacks up, doesn't it?
Literally, in some cases, more than doubles the cost of the product, and I can completely understand why I might go, holy crap, and I've done it myself. I when I'm building stuff and looking at stuff, a lot of the stuff that you get on Etsy comes from the US, and you go, well, that looks really good, and then like your $14
shipping
component in the US, it has $35 worth of shipping, and you're just kind of like, seriously? So it's, it's hard. It's hard. I did see a few comments saying, they always have stock left. We do. I mean, we keep some stock aside always in case of any sort of major returns or if there's issues. There usually is stock left over, but we don't tend to worry about that because it's good to have 2 or 3 things on the website as well as the current thing, and you're literally talking a couple of hundred pieces, with the exception of the Silurians there. Normally you're only talking, by the time you kind of get to the end of it, you're only talking about a couple of hundred pieces, and they just sell, gradually. So getting something that sells out it doesn't happen often. I must admit, I thought this one would sell out. I did genuinely think, if anything was going to buck the trend, it was going to be this one, considering people have waited so long. But it hasn't. It's just followed this. It's just followed exactly the same pattern.
Yeah. So, shall we talk for a little bit about the hot potato with it and the leak that happened a little while ago, that kind of caused a bit of furor and upset, didn't it?
Yes, it did. That felt a little bit targeted. It felt a little bit like somebody was specifically out to kind of just have a go. I mean, it's interesting. I've seen a lot of stuff online from certain parties saying, that they have a wonderful standing in the community and their integrity and professionalism is, unquestioned. What I'd say to that is, professionalism and integrity means you do due diligence. That character don't release without press release. The pattern of that the releases follow. It doesn't, if you then accept something that whether it was proved by somebody you dealt with within the BBC or not. And we still haven't had a name for the mystery people.
No,
And by the
really.
way, we're never going to get a
Probably never
mystery
will.
name or a name for the mystery people, because if it's somebody high up, you're never going to know. And if it was somebody at middle management, they're not going to want to reveal that. So, you know, that aspect, that that information is forthcoming, not forthcoming. So you've got somebody who's saying, I had permission to do this, I had permission to do that. We didn't give permission for the person to do. The BBC, sorry, I was just going to finish. The BBC didn't give any permission, and you spent a week teasing pictures, making it very obvious what you were going to do. So I would say your integrity and professionalism were left high and dry, because you can't do that on one hand and then sort of cite professionalism and integrity.
Yeah,
You can't have it both ways.
That you're doing something that is completely out of the norm. So
I agree.
it was a shame.
You have a pattern for the release of things, and you know, people know how that goes. And if you get given something like that, and it hasn't been formally announced, like, in my view, it's pretty obvious that you don't say anything until you're given the go ahead or something. And the only reason to go and do all the teasing and all of that is essentially for the clout of it, to sort of be like, oh look, I can blow a secret early, and yeah, great, okay, you know, lots of fuss and good and bad, but yeah, hurrah for you. But actually, the long term sort of damage to oneself within the community it is pretty stupid, really. You know, I've talked to a couple of people that we know as well, and you know, they felt quite disappointed that it was done, and thought it was a really dumb move, basically. So yeah,
Well, as I say, over and above everything else, wouldn't you, if somebody gives you something and you know that that's not the normal way it's going to be released, wouldn't you do due diligence and kind of go, like, I know you say this is okay, but where did it come from? Who, does character know this is okay? Does the BBC consumer products department whose sample this is? And I know there was other images and stuff that got leaked, but it still doesn't matter. It still comes down to the person's integrity and professionalism in terms of, I made the decision to run with this and expose it for my gain. Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, exactly. And they could easily have reached out and said, can I do this or not? And I'm not sure. So yeah, that was disappointing.
The trouble is, if left unchecked, and if it happens constantly and goes too far, then the only way to sort of protect yourself really as a company is to put out NDAs and stuff, isn't it? At the moment it's all kind of done on trust, but if you start going down that road, then you can hold people accountable. But then we shouldn't have to do that, really, because
not at all. And that was the person's get out of jail card was, oh, I've been told to do this and I haven't signed any NDAs, and it's like, hey, you haven't, and you're quite right, but it
shouldn't matter, If someone is professing to be professional and have integrity, you shouldn't need an NDA for that. That's the whole point of it. So they can't have it both ways. They can't profess to be one thing and show the actions and behaviour and irresponsibility of the opposite of what they're claiming. That's just how it just doesn't work like that. So
however, I mean, as I've said, the people. I always say the same thing. It's always worse for the team. There's a team of guys that work on this. I mean, I work in it, and stuff's got leaked before, and it will always. There's an argument to say it'll always happen, and we should release and reveal stuff earlier, and that's fine. But that's not the way we do it. But there was other people in the team. There was people in the BBC team that were gearing up to do that are part of the press release. Do their own. There's people on our side, there's a PR company we employ to do all that, there's people in the studio that are involved in the photography, there's the marketing people that put time effort into writing material and contacting people outside the organization. There's the guys in the art department that put all the packaging and stuff together. There's a whole team of people.
A lot of people, yeah.
Invested, and they get as excited as fans do when these releases go out, because it's that little moment of, oh wow, that's cool. It's got done as well. So
yeah,
it was a bit shit, but as I said, and double-edged sword. I've said it before, a double-edged sword. It's a phrase that's going to come up time and again, which is, we found out how it happened, why it happened, and things have been put in place to sort of stop that not happening again, and we'll try our best to make sure it doesn't happen again. So, and it'd been happening for a while, and as I say, the sort of paper trail, as it were, or sort of action trail of how these things have been getting out and why that's all kind of been re-looked at. So as I say, it changed things. It's just a shame it happened on this set, because more than any other, because this is one of the sets that people have been working a long time for. But in the big scheme of things, does it matter? Probably not. It hasn't changed anything.
Yeah, it's just a shame, but hopefully it won't happen again. Paul, I know.
Yeah, sorry, and just to clarify, the what? Because again, I've heard this sort of like about people being questioned about integrity. There was what went on within the organisation, within character and within BBC, and that's a separate thing to the person outside the BBC who got hold of it and then decided to do it. So I'm purely and simply talking about the person.
Yes.
And they're right. They didn't sign an NDA, and it was nothing we could had it come from us, we might have been able to do something about it. But that's not the way it happened. So I can only talk about the way it was done. Is what it is.
Paul, you had a little silver-headed person pop up there that we haven't talked about with Al, have we? So maybe we could have a chat on that for a minute.
This
you just did
my favourite.
Did the tune from the Ark. Oh, I know. It's one of mine as well. That tune you were whistling is that little horn thing. You know, when they're walking around the Ark, and it's that little
the little Dudley Simpson little horn section that he's got. Yeah, I love these. I bought this and this one, right?
Can I just interject? Paul? I'd just like to say thanks to Anthony Fagan over on Facebook, who
Jeff did a deal
helped
for me, basically. Yeah, and I'm forever in the debt of various people to get these, but money was paid, because these I could not be without these guys. I saw them, when they were released, and I thought, I've got to get them. And this is the thing, right? Because me, I don't normally get like massively excited. I get excited and I run with the groove and the vibe and everything, but I for me to actually think I need these figures,
he did.
My life is not complete unless I own them utterly. That was kind of where I was at this point.
I texted him and I said there was a chap who can help get them, and he said I need that set.
I need. Okay. So, for those of you who are just listening on audio, this is the Revenge of the Cybermen, little trio of figures. I've only brought the leader down with me, and the Remembrance of the Daleks, the History of the Daleks set with Remembrance of the Daleks, which comes with the Abomination, aka the big gun Dalek, and a cream coloured gold Dalek as well.
I love the Revenge Cybermen.
They're fantastic. They're just brilliant.
Look so good.
They've got vacuum cleaner hose pipe heads. They've got, and as well with these, the articulation is great. Because I did a bunch of photographs with these, and you don't need to twist them around much for them to just look great and ominous and everything. Do you know what I mean? It's just, I can just imagine now.
They're just one of those designs that works really well, and they did on camera as well. They just they moved slowly. They weren't kind of. I think it's Christopher Robbie. Is that the guy that played
decapitated the Master?
I have the head of our enemy. There you go. I'll figure it out. I'll work it out.
Voga will be destroyed.
will
It's
be destroyed.
very the emotionless but slightly emotive.
Yeah.
Cyber.
I think this guy in telly's got a bit of a South African accent, hasn't he? Or Australian accent or something
He's
like
Canadian.
that. Is he Canadian?
I think it's Christopher Robbie.
Yes, that's him. That's
Robbie.
exactly who it
And
is. Yeah.
I think he's Canadian, but he speaks with a very kind of
Hi mate, how you doing? You all right? Yeah, come on now. Look, this is just not going to work, Doctor. You got to do something about this. I mean, who knows? You know, the well cooked meal, the sunset, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's just emotions, mate. They're getting in your way. So do away with those. Do what you got to do. Put yourself in chains, and let's just make it easy on ourselves, right? Nice one. Yeah. All right, mate. I'm off for a surf anyway.
Beautiful.
Had enough of this nonsense, right? I'm going.
I'm
going to go jump a shark.
What you could do with a wetsuit.
I do need help on occasion.
I love the evolution of the cyber helmet from the fact that it just went. It was literally the same helmet all the way through.
Yeah,
and
then they stuck the sides on it, and then
I do
that was the invasion helmet, and then somebody went, "Oh, we need a bit of corrugated tubing."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're gonna have that. But they became iconic for it, and I mean, Jeff. We were talking about Cybermen. I mean, we always seem to be talking about Cybermen, actually. But there was one where you asked me what my favourite Cybermen. I said it was the Invasion Cybermen, and they still are, because they are, for me, the pure. That silhouette is just utterly pure. But actually, when I was a kid, these guys were the ones that really meant Cybermen to me. I had no idea that these guys even existed. A, without the corrugated tubing on their ears. Just a plain, simple metal rod, and B, without the side boxes. You know what I mean? So I did not know they existed until some point in the future, 80s, 90s, or whatever. When I became more aware of the history of Doctor Who. But in the 70s, these were the guys.
I think they're only bettered by, and it's a set I would love, if I ever carte blanche, but again, we're back to Big Finish. But Spare Parts, I've often said that's I think that's my favourite Cybermen origin story, and you kind of get the feeling in that there's a kind of mixed bag. You've got the standard, you've got people, literally ordinary people with chest boxes, and Yvonne's dad has a chest box, and there's a guy out on patrol that's kind of half cyberdized, and he's on a horse that's half cyberdized. But it's kind of that fall of civilization when they've kind of, you literally get a feeling in that drama that they're having to do this to survive, but in the process they're losing their humanity, and they kind of get to a point where they don't realize it's happening, and you've got a conflict between it, because they're sending obviously some people out onto the surface of Mondas, because they're in this sort of underground cave, and they're sending people out, and they're literally going out onto the surface is driving them mad, so they start chopping their emotions to make them so that they can work.
That's it.
Yeah, so they can bear it.
Literally work themselves to death, but they don't have to. But their emotions have been cut so that they can actually do it, and then suddenly you've got this big internal conflict between the people who are part cyberdized, and suddenly Cybermen, emotionless Cybermen, who suddenly are going, well, actually, everyone should be like us. And it's that whole, and there's Dr. Van Allen and
Sally Nivet,
the twins, and it's
a really good,
There's a good one. That cyber processor as well, the big voice that becomes stronger, right to the end until it dominates and controls everything. It's just, oh my goodness. I mean, that's an astonishing story. It really is. It's so powerful.
And the committee in the city that is the kind of proto cyber planner, just these brains in jars.
That's right. Yeah. So, Paul, am I right in thinking you don't have a B&M near you?
I do have a B&M near me, but it never seems to have Doctor Who figures in it, sadly. Whenever I go there, it's just a load of Barbie dolls and Lego and stuff.
Because I was going to go and check out Crawley one for the Cybermen, but because I was over there a while ago.
I've got a site. Sorry, you should have gotten touch with me because I haven't got many, but I know I've got one Cyberman set now by my desk. I think it wasn't a return set, but it was a set that was going to go somewhere else and ended up back with me. So it's sitting behind my desk.
Oh, well,
I can give you that one, but I think you're out of luck as regards the Remembrance set because I'm pretty sure I don't have any of those.
Perhaps I can ask nicely because I didn't get that one in the end.
Well, I think I'll send it 4 doors down. Just make you laugh.
just make me hunt for it. Yeah.
It's with one of your neighbours. You just have to figure out which one.
What's that? I haven't seen anything. I don't know what you're talking about, mate. No, nothing arrived here.
I'll make sure they put a card written in crayon through you.
No, Jeff's neighbours, they probably eat the crayons.
I was going to say we went to the B&M just by chance because we were over that way, and I was looking to see who was in there because Jonathan Wilkins from Titan Comics, that you also know how he was looking for the recent TARDIS and the Eve of the Daleks figures, and he hadn't found them anywhere. And we'd been all around the store, and we were just leaving, and I just happened to look up at the top of a shelf near the tills, and they were there. And I got the thrill that I think other fans get when they're out hunting the figures, and I text a picture to Jonathan. Do you still need it? And Ali was like, has he replied yet? And I said, no, not yet. And I was saying, come on, Jonathan, I need you to answer now before I'm dragged away. And I don't want to buy them in case you've already got them. And he came back quite quickly, didn't he, Paul? Yes, I need them. So that was really nice to have picked them up for him and, help add to his collection a little bit there. But I thought, this is fun hunting. But I guess it'll be sometime early next year. They're building a B&M. It's like a minute's drive from us here. So
a minute's drive? Sound like a 10-minute walk.
Well, my speed 7 to 8. Yeah,
that's right.
A minute's walk.
A minute's drive.
A minute's drive. Yeah. So they're basically where the big Tesco is. They're doing
by the big Tesco.
They're doing a big retail add-on. So there's going to be
I do actually know where you mean. Actually, bizarrely, I do because I drew past it when we went down to your film festival.
Yeah, you probably would have gone pretty much past
the whole
it.
interchange where all the dual carriageways and everything. It's all cones everywhere. So
they're adding a McDonald's, a B&M, a Starbucks, and something else. So so that'll be quite
destination handy in that case.
Yeah, it will be. Broadwood Chief will be the place to be.
Just get the staff at the front desk to dress up as Cybermen.
Oh, that would be good. They should totally do that.
Invite, put a sock over your head and come to work.
What do you mean you don't do that anyway?
What, just matter of course?
Sock over your head and turn it to work.
Where do you work then?
It's always turned out.
We'll do that next time we podcast. We'll all three of us can have socks.
That's a different kind of podcast, really, isn't it?
That would be quite funny. We could just put silver gaff tape.
Dial up the screen or dial it down.
Yeah. Okay. I'm up for
egg
that.
cups held on with sellotape, and just let's all do it as Cybermen.
Go.
Hello, Jeff.
Do you know what? Do you remember that's the Peter Capaldi story, isn't it? Was it The World Enough and Time?
Yeah, well,
and the other one. What were your thoughts on that, Al? Because I mean, that was a big thing to see the Mondasian Cybermen coming back into Doctor Who. Do you think they did it justice?
Yeah, I mean, I really, I like. I have to be honest. I really like that story. I like it because of the sort of horror aspects that it's kind of as we know with a lot of Doctor Who stories. Sadly, not everybody sort of stays dead, and Bill sort of came back in one form or another. But there was a real shit, she's dead.
Yeah, with a great big hole in her.
Great big hole, yeah.
And when she gets taken down and kind of cyber converted, and she becomes that was a real and I thought that interpretation, the patients just sitting around going kind of like, how How,
Yeah,
you
it
know,
was
they're
horrible,
like,
wasn't it?
oh, they just need their, I mean, back to what we were talking about, oh, they just need their meds, you know, up
Yeah.
to stop the pain. There was some real, and I like that. In fact, in many ways, I like that early bit more than sort of
The
later
later
on,
stuff.
where they
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of started evolving into the later version, because it kind of it kind of did and it didn't make sense. It was kind of like, well, if they've if they're on that edge of a black hole in it, and it's taking them forever to, like, how would the lift work? And so
Yeah,
it was it's
yeah, I
a
know.
bit
Yeah, you start thinking,
too
digging
kind
into
of
it too deeply, and you think actually it doesn't
yeah,
quite
like
work. But
if it
it's
takes 1,000 years for a Cyberman to evolve coming up in the lift, how come it, you know, how come you get down there in about 2 minutes and you
but
know
it does
find
make for a
but I
good,
love
you
that
know, good
whole
story. So yeah, a lot of horror
yeah, and I love
visuals.
this the factories and that kind of
Mm,
grungy sort of
Yeah,
almost Victorian look. I kind of liked I like that, and I think Missy is a fabulous character, so I
yeah,
also liked it. I mean, Peter Capaldi stories in general were just really, for me, really solid most of the time.
yeah,
Um, and he could carry them even if they weren't particularly. Um, there's
yeah.
not many people can carry off the egg as a big, or the moon as a big egg, and
That's a
it might
great
not hold.
episode.
just not a great episode.
No, you're right. It's a
That, no,
fantastically great
you're just
episode.
saying this to wind me up now. You're just after a
I'm
reaction
not.
and you got it. I hope you're happy with yourself.
No, he's off. Quick, let's change the subject. So, Al, can you give us any hints about what's to come and what you're working on?
Everyone is asking that at the moment. Can you,
Well, we like to be different, you know.
Yeah, yeah. We thought long and hard about that question. What will he not have
Yeah.
been asked?
Question
I
45.
think everyone else asks, you know. Can I get, no, I mean, we're in a weird, I'm in a slightly odd situation. If you'd asked me sort of 2 weeks ago, I would have said that everything was looking rosy. I would say, as of this week, regarding Doctor Who, I'm probably going to say they're looking slightly less rosy. But in terms of but to keep with the positives, I would say yes. The plan at the moment is actually something quite different next year, which
Okay.
would involve showing what we're going to do potentially up front, which I think would solve a lot of issues. It's basically, you know, the plan is basically this is what we're going to make. We're going to have this many drops. Um, you know, enjoy, and then, but then, I mean, we're back to the double-edged sword. You know, the minute you show people something, they
Yeah.
can't wait for it, and then it's kind of like, oh well, it didn't. It looked different when you took the photo the first time round, and you know that thing had 3 legs, and now it's only got 2 legs, and you know,
You can't please
so
everyone, can you?
you can't
Yeah.
please everyone. But I do think showing folk, and that's not to stop leaks. It's just because what we were
Yeah.
planning, which I think we might change now, but what we were planning kind of meant that we almost had to do that, and I think that's actually probably come hell or high water. That's probably what we're going to do. But whether we stick to the original plan or whether we modify it, TBC. That's about all I can say. Really, it's all, like I say, it's all a bit. Um,
Up
it's
in
all
the
a
air.
little bit. It's not up in the air, as in
Yeah.
we've got a very firm plan. But as I say, as of this week, I and a couple of other
Yeah.
people kind of went, actually, we might need to change this.
Yeah.
slightly.
That's right. So just
I'll leave it at that and say there's still a plan. I've seen all the B&M stuff. The B&M plans done, dusted, ready to go.
yeah.
I'm not handling that, by the way. It's the first year ever I've just sort of handed that off to
Okay.
somebody
Pass it
else.
on.
Passed it on. So I am not involved in that at all. I can advise, and I'm happy to advise.
Yeah.
But, I've sort of said I don't want.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, we got a ton of other work on at the moment. We're really busy. We've got some brilliant ideas, non-Doctor Who, a very small part of the business. So,
Yeah, I texted you and I saw Stuntman Stu in the various toy catalogues that the kids had picked up, and they thought, oh, this looks. They were quite interested. Oh, so what happens? Do you break it and then put it back together again? I was like, that's exactly what you do with it. Yeah. So that's looking cool. Is that doing well?
I don't know, is the honest answer. I'm so busy. I mean, it's always the same. By the time the stuff gets out, we're kind of.
But we talked about that a long time ago, didn't we? Really? And,
yeah, 6 months down the line. So
yeah.
I would hope so. The toy industry is a fickle beast. Some things work, some things don't. Sometimes things don't work that you think, God, that was just the most amazing toy ever.
Yeah.
Sometimes the most Labubu. Who could have seen?
Who could have seen that one coming?
Talking of Labubu, so my girls were interested in getting one each because a friend at school had them. So Ali and I happened to be going to Westfield when we went to the Oasis gig, and that's where the Pop Mart shop is. So we went there on the off chance that they had someone. Of course, they didn't, and we had to enter a raffle to be able to potentially purchase one, which was a bit bonkers. And of course, we didn't get picked for it.
Well, you had to enter the raffle to be in with a chance to actually buy one.
Yeah, you had to prepay. So if you won the raffle, you'd get the thing, and if you didn't win, they had 100 come in or something. If you didn't get picked, you got your money back, which is what happened. And then on the website, I said, please notify me when you get more in. And they were due to get them at the end of September, and then I got an email yesterday to say they're now in stock. So it took them that long, and I went straight to the website. Bearing in mind, by now, my girls have forgotten about them. They don't really care anymore.
Moved on, mate. Yeah.
They've moved on, but I wanted to see, sold out straight away, gone. And I was telling my friends in America about them a little while ago, and they said, could we get them? And I said, well, maybe. So they went to the mall where there's a Pop Mart thing, and they said they had them. They're locked in a container, in a shelf unit, and you have to sign up on the app. They'll tell you when they're in. And then you go, and if you happen to be, in the line, the number they've got 100 in, and if you're number 101, you won't get one. So I was like, oh, don't worry about it. That sounds like too much.
Too short.
Mad, absolutely mad. So they don't have a Labubu.
Hey, it's madness, but it's great to be in the old toy companies like be in the position where
to be there. Yeah,
desperate for product. It hardly ever happens, and does, it's fabulous. So I can't sort of malign them for doing it.
Good for them. It's it's good.
Nothing lasts forever, does it? I mean,
no, that's it. Ride the wave while it's there.
Yeah. So before we go on to our time space visualizer, I'll just go back to X. And earlier I'd asked people to tell us what their favourite Ainley story was. So George Cairn says, my favourite is Keeper of Traken. His delivery of a new body
George.
At last promised an amazing adversary for the Doctor. And then JJ,
he had a really good reply to that, didn't he, Jeff?
He did, yes. 100%. That ending is chilling, made all the more tragic since up until that final moment, Tremas was such a lovely bloke. Tear, Paul. So
that's me, by the way. Yeah,
that's you. Heart of Stone. JJ says Survival. Actually, I think best performance by Ainley. Dark Prime still has Democracy's back. Says Keeper of Traken as well. Tremas was a likeable character until his tragic end, like you said, Paul. Doctor Who Positivity says Planet of Fire. Jonathan Wilkins that we mentioned earlier.
Jonathan,
he says. No, Wilkins, not Who. He says Logopolis, the Master is genuinely dangerous, scary, and unhinged.
I think he had a good reply to that one as well, didn't he?
I'll have a look. There is a comment there. Killing the seemingly indestructible Fourth Doctor and playing a huge part in universal destruction. The fact he is in a stolen body of the Doctor's new companion's dad is macabre. And, excuse me, about to sneeze, and I've gone a bit weird. No, not the mind probe, says, yup, he turns a costly mistake, not understanding the full nature of a CVE, a CV, into an opportunity for absolute universal control. Brilliant. Uh,
I agree on Keeper of Traken and Legopolis. Legopolis, I think,
brilliant.
is just fabulous.
The whole of those three, Keeper of Traken, Legopolis, and Castrovalva, it's a trilogy, isn't it? It's a bona fide proper trilogy at the heart of that.
Where he's saying, people of the universe address me, and the Fourth Doctor's kind of like, you're fucking mental.
It is though, yeah. But
and Anthony is like, yes, I am.
Yeah, I am. I am that guy.
Take over the universe.
Yeah, I am the guy who will use this as an opportunity to assert my control, the control I've aspired to reach. I've got it now in my hands, and I've got to act quickly. What am I going to do? I'm going to get my trusty 1982 Tandy dictaphone out. Or 1979 dictaphone it would have been, wouldn't it? Probably back in them days, but and do it.
I think that drive, that kind of slightly, like, I agree with you, Paul. There's that slightly manic sort of full ahead drive, and and I think if you kind of extrapolate that or follow that back to the Master having spent, we know from the audios and all the other stuff, and from the TV, ages in that decrepit body, kind of literally just surviving by sheer force of will, and then suddenly he kind of gets this ability,
this reinvigorate this young guy,
to kind of, be whole once again. That must have been like, oh my god, I'm off the leash. I'm going to do whatever the hell I want. So it kind of,
switching in the happy juice, isn't it? It's getting the fruit shoots out.
Jeff, we interrupt.
No, sorry. There was two more. The British Alien says he was poignant in survival. And Phoenix 24, James Matthews, says possibly survival. I like Mark of the Rani. And I also think Time Flight served him well. So thank you, everyone. That's
an interesting
thing. British Alien, that's brilliant. I like that name. Mark of the Rani, I'm not a fan of at all, but then I think it's because that whole story for me feels a bit ploddy.
I'm not a massive fan. I think actually Time with the Rani, I get why people do like it. It does have a dynamism to it. The story does move on, but I find that the words get in the way of the story. And from the Master's perspective, I mean, it's interesting to see him up against or trying to collaborate with somebody who is far superior to him and who regards him as absolutely just an irritating pest at absolute best. That's a nice dynamic to have at the heart of that story. I don't think it plays through particularly brilliantly, but there's lots of other things to kind of for the story to get on with anyway, so it gets on with that. But it's interesting. Go on.
Yeah. So no, go on, finish.
Well, I was actually going to switch stories there because I've been meaning to talk about the Keeper of Traken because I keep seeing it in front of me because you've named yourself the Keeper of Traken tonight, which I love. And
I really enjoy that one as well.
It's brilliant. I love it, and okay. So we got Anthony Ainley not playing the Master at that point until right at the end. But what we do have who we have playing the Master is Geoffrey Beevers, isn't it? With that beautiful silky voice that he's got, or that he had, just so
that horrific bit where he's moving around he's just, Doctor, kind of sizing him up, going, "Oh, that body will do." And it's
a monster, but he's a monster with a real cunning intelligence. When it's so you're talking about the evolution of the Master. So we've gone from Delgado. The next time we see him, the deadly assassin with the mad golf balls. He's disfigured. He's basically dead, like you said. It's only his willpower that's keeping him on, and he is completely unhinged. He will stop at nothing to try and live another day, another lifetime, or something. It is absolutely his driving force, and we don't really know what happens. The clock fades. There's that cackle of laughter at the end of it. We know he somehow survived, and then when we see him again as the same sort of hideous figure, obviously burned, scarred, but with actual Geoffrey Beevers' own eyes, not the ping pong balls, gives him a lot more expression, and with that voice. That whole story for me is supercharged and just builds towards that end moment when he takes over Tremas. It's just
there's some nice
astonishing
dovetails. The Master's got it feels in that story like the Master's got. There's a lot of TARDIS stuff in that story, and it feels like the Master.
The idea of the TARDIS is a statue. Brilliant.
Stashed away all over the place, like his time in Gallifrey wasn't wasted. He nicked TARDISes left, right, and central. But there's also that bit. I don't know if you remember when his TARDIS actually blows up and the flames are in front of him, and you could, as a man who's already horribly disfigured, his sort of instant thing of, oh God, I'm going to get even more crispy, now when the flames are. That's hard.
Maybe we should
story.
watch that one soon. It is really good. Yeah.
I love Keeper of Track, and it's got some really high arch ideas that
It does, yeah.
The Legopolis, the whole sort of CVEs and the entropy thing, and the masters. It's all about decay and death and rebirth.
Exactly, yeah. It's those themes that are building throughout that season now starting to really come to a head, isn't it? Moving into that final phase,
and the
which is going to end with the Doctor's death.
It's all about that entropy thing. The milker comes and it's all covered in this calcified, and the leaves are everywhere, and it's real kind of. It's got that. I've said in the past, that whole doom and gloom kind of, that air of absolute kind of doom.
But it
and
does.
it's even said in the story. It's like, these are the best people in this entire. These are the best people in our society, and yet when you look at them, they are literally the sword of Damocles. This doom is hanging.
It's just it's like inevitable. It's gonna happen. It's like as soon as you get a stable society, it's a society that is stable and has been stable for like thousands of years and everything, and it's in perfect harmony. The whole system of Traken and everything is a perfect, harmonious, quotation fingers, state. But as we've seen throughout all the stories in that season, that can't endure, it can't last, and if it does, as in State of Decay, it kind of, it becomes a corrosive thing in itself. But the thing that upsets that equilibrium is an agent of darkness, i.e. the Master, the statue, the Melker, that has this perfidious, insidious influence that starts small. It begins with people having an action, then a reaction, then another action, and so on, until you get this cataclysmic, it's a chain reaction that just builds throughout the story. But yet the story itself is so slow and melodic, and it's almost like a musical piece that just kind of builds layer on layer on layer till the end. It's not, if you're expecting action, adventure and all that, this is not that story. It's a much more thoughtful kind of piece, and it's got beautiful set design. It's just
nicely done, things like the Melker kind of appearing in the doorway, and somebody going, "Oh God, it's evil," and then
evil.
Melker disappears, and then the Doctor appears, and they're all like, "It's him!"
I know. It's just, it's brilliant. I mean, by far my favourite era of Doctor Who is season 18 into 19. I just love it. Those are the stories that made me a Doctor Who fan. Made me stop and actually sit down and watch this show and become a fan of it. I'd always loved it before then, but never really sat through it. Read the books, great stuff, loved the books, but this was the one. These stories here are the ones that made me sit down and think, yeah, this is my cup of tea now.
It's funny, isn't it, that in his final sort of season, he wasn't. Tom Baker wasn't playing it. He became slightly acerbic. He
that
had a
helps
slightly
it, though,
and it helps.
That detachment that he almost has, and the sadness, almost that moodiness, that grim silhouette that he brings on camera is just. It helps those stories massively. It's brilliant. Love it.
Me too.
Let's have a look at that one soon.
We'll do it.
Shall we move on to Time Space Visualizer and
we can.
The Time Space Visualizer.
Al is absolutely loving that.
I didn't know what was coming in that really.
Strange though, it does tend to take people by surprise from behind.
And suddenly we're back to the Masters.
I know. It can't keep away. So, go on, Jeff. Explain what this segment of our little show is then.
Well, this is our little part where we can, talk about other things, but that's a rule that I disregard as we make our way through the podcast. But this is where we have a look at something that we have watched or read or played or done in the last week or recently, whatever it might be. So it's a chance to talk about something else that we've been up to. So, Al, would you like to kick off, or do you want to take a moment to think? And
No, I was thinking about it, but weirdly, because I kind of the music threw me, I'd been thinking about this, and I think I said before we sort of started that I kind of thought, oh, well, I haven't really done anything that, or thinking about anything. But I have actually seen two things that I mean, one, I'm watching Slow Horses, and I really
oh
like
yeah,
that.
you like that,
Is
don't you? Yeah.
that
I
is
love
a
it.
fabulous, fabulous piece of drama. It
Mm.
never fails to be entertaining.
It's
The
brilliant.
most,
Mm.
the Jackson Lamb character is just this, he has nothing
Odious.
good to say about anyone. If anything, he's become slightly toned down. So I've been watching that, and that is just absolutely brilliant. And weirdly, the other thing that I've been enjoying is a thing on BBC One called Film Club.
Oh,
What's that?
Now, if you haven't seen it, I recommend that you watch it. It has Amy Lou Harris,
Yeah.
who is ex of Sex Education,
Yep.
okay.
and she was also in that film that with Walter Coggins, and it's actually it's fascinating. It's not what I thought at all. I kept getting
Oh, and Saran
recommendations.
Jones is in it.
Mm.
Saran Jones is in it, and it touches on a bunch of stuff. It mostly touches on sort of mental health. It's got some real pointed. It doesn't go where you think it's gonna go, but it's fascinating. It's got some great character. I'm sure the guy that's in it is the guy that plays Ezra Bridger, weirdly in Ahsoka. But yeah, it's really. I've actually been enjoying that. It like I say, it kind of it's got. I mean, it's very difficult to describe. It's just her take on this. She essentially has agoraphobia. She can't go outside. She's a girl that's had not missing. She's been doing a job and she kind of has a breakdown essentially, and she's essentially stuck at home. And she does a little film club with her friends, and they all turn up to it. And it doesn't sound very exciting, but every week they do something else. They dress up, they watch the movie. They have these little discussions.
Yeah, I'm just
and then
looking it up.
there's kind of what's going on in the house
Yeah,
as well
yeah.
as what's going on in the house. But it's I really like her. I liked her in Sex Education a lot, but she's one of these people that just seems to be able to turn her. She wrote it as well.
Yeah,
so
really.
Art
I
wrote
give that a
it.
watch actually. I think I think I've seen it. It's on iPlayer, isn't it? I'm pretty sure. Have I seen it on
It
there?
is, and
Yeah.
it's when you first start watching, you'll be kind of like, "What the hell is this?" Because that was my immediate reaction as well. It becomes quite obvious quite quickly that there's an issue going on, and Saran Jones is the mum who is kind of. It's weird because it's one of those things where the kids are actually slightly more kind of
Yeah.
focused and stable, and the mum is actually a little bit kind of hyper and scatty because she doesn't really know how to deal with what's going on.
Right.
So it's fascinating. I mean, it might not be your thing, but I've been enjoying it. So, yeah.
Amy
Sounds
Lou
good.
Wood was in.
Yeah.
She was
Amy
in.
Lou Wood. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said Harris. I always say Harris, but it's Amy Lou Wood, and she is really good.
Yeah, she was in Toxic Town with Jodie Whittaker, and she was also really good in that. That was a good show. Yeah. Paul, how about you?
Me, well, weirdly, I've been indulging in my guilty pleasure, which is reading another Jack Reacher book the hard way. This is quite an interesting one, right?
Is it new?
No. It's years old. It's like 2000 and something or other, 2007, I think. Yeah, 2007. The thing is, right, I started reading the Jack Reacher books because years ago, it's 20 odd years ago, whatever. Well, actually, in 2007, my dad was in hospital and he wanted me to buy some books that he could read while he was there. So I was just moozing around W.H. Smith's, and I knew he always liked these kind of thrillers with a, strong kind of male hero kind of type, doesn't take prisoners, ends up with a girl at the end. And I started reading the blurb on those, and I thought, that's the sort of thing that my dad would like. And then I was reading a few others in the series as well, and I thought, these actually look quite good. And I picked up I picked up this one because this is the hard way, and this was promoted everywhere because it was the new release at the time. And I started reading it. I thought, And I was just into it really, really quickly. And I thought, I love the way this guy writes. Lee Child, the author, he just writes in such an economical, very direct kind of way. There's no, there's the occasional little frill, but there's not many. It's just straight into the story. So I bought a couple of the books for my dad, The Killing Floor, and whichever one came after it, Tripwire or something, I can't remember. And I said, well, after you've read them, I'm going to have them off you. And he goes, and he looks at you, he goes, I probably wouldn't read it anyway, Paul, to be honest. You might as well take it home with you. So I brought home the books. He didn't read them. I brought home The Killing Floor, and whichever was number 2. It was either Trip with Die. Anyway, whatever. And I've been kind of hooked on them ever since. But I don't read them like, you know, I wouldn't finish one and then start another one. I'll finish one and then it'll be years until I read another one. So the point is, right, I'm getting to, I have to read them in order, publication order. With the Jack Reacher books, you don't really have to. They're more or less independent. There's a loose kind of connection. But the thing is, the point I'm getting to is that by reading the hard way right now means I've finally caught up to the novel that was published when I first started reading Jack Reacher books. It's taken me 20 years nearly.
Have you watched the TV series?
I love the TV series. Yeah, I haven't watched the third series yet because I'm kind of annoyed that Amazon are doing adverts, even though I'm paying money to watch their bloody stuff. So
I know,
kind of rankles with me
agree,
a little bit. But
I agree with you. The story's kind of, unlike most people, it's not progressive, is it? He is essentially
really.
a drifter. Yeah. So when he goes somewhere else, it's
literally starting from afresh. It's a new town, a new situation. I mean, there are some of the stories where they dig into his past as, you know, as a military cop, military investigator that he was. And you pick up more of that story as you go through the books, so you know what happened in the past and stuff like that. But you don't necessarily need to know any of that in any of these stories. And if you do, it's all within that story anyway. And then you can go back to another one and find out, you know, the detail of what may have happened. So, I mean, they're bloody good. I mean, he stopped writing them now. I think he's handed it over to his son. And I haven't...
Question for you on that is, I get the impression that, because Reacher is a big bastard.
He's
and
a big guy. Yeah.
He's quite brutal in the TV series, but I always got the sense that they kind of tone him down. In the books, is it a little bit more visceral?
I think it's about the same, to be honest. I think the TV series is actually a really, really good representation of the novels. Like Jack Reacher, you know, he has a lot of presence. He's arguably... he's neurodivergent as well, you know, which I think was something Tom Cruise wanted to pick up on when he did Jack Reacher in the movies. You know, it wasn't so much the physical aspect, it was that, you know, the stuff that's going on in his head and how he reacts to people, how he retains information.
That's not something I picked up from the TV series, but now you've said it, it kind of completely explains the way he can be quite dispassionate about
but that's it. But you say this, I mean, the thing is though, he's quite a simple guy in that he cares about the right things, and I think this is one of the reasons why the books are so successful, is because no matter how brutal and violent he is, you know, the people he's fighting against are always more brutal, more violent, and willing to do the bad things that he would. Now he would, you know, sanction killing somebody, but they will be a real complete somebody, you know, they'll be a total bastard, basically, you know, who kind of deserves it.
I saw a clip from the Cruise film popped up on Twitter the other day, and I've seen both the films, and I know he's not tall enough and blah, 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 but it was the bit where he takes a bunch of the guys outside and they want to have a fight, and he's saying,
the crap out of them.
Just remember, you wanted this, and then he takes them all out. And it's such a good scene. And I remember in the first of that car chase sequence, because Macquarie did it directed it and wrote it. Fantastic car chase. Really good.
I don't mind the Tom Cruise films at all, other than the fact that when you kind of then see Alan Richardson in the part, you kind of go, oh, I get it.
The thing is, it's like a lot of it depends, you know, on his physical presence. He's a massive guy. And for everything to kind of work the way it does, he has to really have that aspect to it. You know, Cruise did a decent job focusing on, you know, the sort of mental aspect rather than the physical stuff. But it's so much more when you see how big Jack Reacher is, because he's got that presence in the books, you know, and it's a big part of the story.
casting of Alan Richardson seems to
It's
be
perfect.
spot
I
on.
think. I
I
think
can
it's
only
ideal for
imagine
it.
the ladies, and probably some men, and must love some of the scenes in Jack Reacher office in Paul sliding around with not
Yeah,
many clothes.
it all kind of helps, doesn't it? I suppose. They're my guilty pleasure. I just love reading those books from time to time. So
That's
anyway,
cool. And are you watching anything on TV, or have you seen any
I
movies
just
that
started rewatching
off work?
Foundation actually because I want to watch series 3, but I kind of want to get the full story back in my head again. So I've gone right back to series 1, and I'll get to series 3, and then by the time I've done
Oh,
that,
people say
Slow
it's very
Horses
good.
will have completed. So I'll watch that as well. So that's my
Yeah,
plan: Foundation, and then Slow Horses. So I'm currently on Foundation.
nice.
It's a great
That's
series.
cool.
What about you then, Jeff? What are you doing?
With quite a lot of work really, but
There's
I've
got to
got
be one of
my
us. Oh,
Spider-Man Magic
oh! I
card
saw you were
game.
playing this. Now you won a game, didn't you?
I won 2 games, and
What?
thank you.
Spider-Man Magic.
Yeah, Magic the Gathering. So
Do you know Hasbro put out their results, and the Magic the Gathering, I
Yeah,
think, is responsible for basically growing their business, like almost solely responsible for growing their
yeah.
business by like
well,
20%.
it's quite interesting that you said that actually, because in the Magic community, I'll come back to the cards in a minute. There's been quite a bit of fuss lately. There's basically fans who like what you call proper Magic, so it uses the characters and settings within that, and they don't like what's called Universes Beyond, which is Spider-Man, which is Doctor Who. There's a Star Trek one coming out
Yeah,
next year, Paul.
franchisey stuff.
Yeah, but it's quite clear the reason that they do it is probably partly a Hasbro thing, and blah blah. But it brings new people in. So the Doctor Who set came out a couple of years ago.
It got
I
you
played
back into
Magic.
it, didn't it?
Yeah, I hadn't played it in a long time, and I've been playing it, but ever since. There's 2 years plus. But you just said that there. How it obviously it makes money, and it it's been really good for the brand, and fans seem to get when they play competitively. A set is legal for 2 years to play competitively, and they feel that there's, like, particularly next year, there's about 7 sets coming out, and it's a lot. And for me, I'll buy 1 or 2 maybe. But they have to buy all of them to be able to play competitively. So what it
Yeah.
seems to me is the Universes Beyond stuff should be its own thing, and pure Magic should be its own thing, and they're separately legal. Anyway, so I got the Spider-Man cards, and I made 2 decks. So this is my goodies deck, which
Oh,
is got Spidey in it. And what I
of course.
like is that some of these cards. So on one side, look, it's Peter Parker, and you play the mana to activate him, and then you flip it, and he's Spider-Man. So they've taken, sort of, they did this very well with Doctor Who, character traits and personality types and things, and turn them into mechanics in the game. So with one of my other Spider-Man cards, for example, if I can find him, he has an action called web slinging. So what that means is I can pull
So,
a another creature that's in the battlefield back to me to be able to cast Spider-Man for less. So you bring it back in. So that's quite a Spider-Man sort of characteristic. So yeah, it's a really good set, and I've been able to build so they have commander mode where you have 100 cards, which is how we played Doctor Who, Paul, and you have one card that is kind of your lead hero, and you build everything around that. Or they do standard where it's 60 cards, and you still have to fit to set colours, but you can kind of be a bit looser with what you do in it. So with Spider-Man, there wasn't quite enough cards within the whole set to do a commander deck of just Spider-Man. So I built a goodies and a baddies standard deck. And when I played Chris last week, earlier this week, so I often play Chris, and Chris has won every game in the last 2 years, and I beat him first time with MJ, and then with
Yeah.
Spider-Man, and I was super chuffed. And then previously I'd beat him with my Pure Magic set, which is called Duskmorn, which is a horror themed one. And we had to pause the game because it got really late. And I was thinking, so we come back, it's Chris's turn, and I had the upper hand. But I thought, he doesn't obviously know what I've got in my hand, and I know he's pretty much fucked when we come back. So, so I was sitting on this for like 2 weeks thinking, there's still a chance, obviously, that, you know, he could pull something out, but I pretty much was confident that I'm going to win here. So that was sweet. I was able to pull a few moves and kick his ass. So it was good. So I really enjoy it. It's really good, yeah.
I did see your post on that, and I was actually rooting for it. And I meant to give you a shout and say well done, mate, and stuff like that, because I know how much that means to you to be able to do that, and how long you've been playing and building up and getting better and building your decks and everything. So, it was really good. Yeah.
So next year they've got a full Marvel set coming out, and then another Pure Magic one, which is sort of based around their school of kind of magic type of thing that they've got. And then
Marvel is one of your things, isn't it?
He's big on Marvel.
Yeah, I wasn't going to get the Spider-Man set, and then I saw what the art was like for it and what the kind of play mechanics were and stuff. So I thought, oh, that's looking really good, so I'll get that. And also I have a little bag here, and
he's got a little bag. He's holding up his little bag.
Chris very kindly sent myself and Graham, that plays that you also know, Paul. He sent us various dice to use in the game. So these give you your life points and different things that get applied to you. Like you can become flying, or you can have hexproof, so spells don't work on you. So I got a little pouch of dice to use in the game there, which is very kind of him. So
fell for the old gifted loaded dice.
So here you are, a special present for you.
Here's a present for you.
Yeah.
Beautiful
and then I beat him
always use these
afterwards.
Dice.
So very, very good.
There's the proof, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah.
Brilliant stuff. That was fun.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. Great. And watching the thing, is there anything you probably don't get enough time to watch?
No, not hugely. I will admit, and I don't think I'm embarrassed to say this, I did watch some of K-pop Demon Hunters again this week, because I think it's really good.
Very big, very big.
Do you know what? I know you said this. Yeah, you put this on probably our first time space visualizer, didn't you? And I thought, okay, you sold it enough to get me intrigued. And then I looked at it and I thought, I just can't. I looked, with the thumbnail and everything. I thought, no, I can't. I just can't.
But I didn't watch all of it. But the kids,
the kids like it.
Funnily enough, Jasmine turned her nose up at it, but Harrison ended up watching it. And I can 100%. I can see the appeal. I think it's done phenomenally well, and it's got a lot of really cool stuff in there, and it's that classic thing of, it's got the kind of three girls that sing together and they're in a band, but then you kind of couple that with something that's a bit more edgy with the demons and the
it's Buffy but with fighting, with singing, and not the story itself is really good. There's some really great humour. It switches from sort of what you'd call kind of mainstream sort of Western animation styles to anime type stuff. The eyes pop out and the moves become all exaggerated, and just brilliantly comical stuff. But then the choreography in the dance sequences and the fights and the way the camera moves, it's just amazing.
See, now I'm thinking about it again. It's just I can't get past the bloody thumbnail on it and the description.
Well, that's
you
your
sell
loss,
it. Because what you're selling is all the stuff that I love in all in anime type things. I love all that.
I really liked it.
Will change, Paul. So you want to play. So
I don't know. I just can't press play. I can get it. I can get that close, but I can't bring myself to press the play button and actually watch it.
Some of these animation shows are brilliant.
Honestly, I agree.
It's gorgeous. The animation and the visuals are gorgeous. The character design is superb. And what was really nice, I helped at the school disco on Wednesday. My girls were there, and there was loads of Rumi and Mira and Zoe, which is the three girls, and loads of the
Right.
kids dressed up. And the DJ guy Darren, he played three of the songs from the film for the night,
Yeah.
and they went mental,
Oh my goodness.
absolutely lost
Yeah.
it, and they all knew it, and they played
Yeah.
the Soda Pop song, which is the one that this sort of evil boy band do in it, and
It's the whole Frozen thing. All
Yeah.
over. I remember going to Jasmine and watching Frozen and hers.
Yeah, so am I too.
yeah, well, my Phoebe still likes Frozen. She'll be asleep now with her Elsa teddy, and she loves Frozen still. I wish they'd put the third film out so we could buy her more stuff, because there's nothing left from the second
I really like Frozen as well, but I must admit the first time I saw it, I was kind of like, Jesus Christ, they've started singing and they haven't stopped.
Yeah, it's kind of ongoing, isn't it? Yeah.
And
running up a hill.
Yeah, on that, I will say,
I've destroyed my place. But you got that whole kind of, and I was sitting there thinking, oh my God! But I'll tell you, Frozen.
Right, we took Phoebe to see the stage show for Frozen when Samantha Barks was in it. Just amazing. And the main song in the second film, Into the Unknown, like that is a banger. That song is absolutely incredible. The vocal from Idina in it is amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, great films. And Kristen Bell is brilliant as Anna.
The band, the girls that actually sing in it are really good. They've done a lot of the behind the scenes stuff.
What, in K-pop?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
doing that now.
Yeah.
They have come out and sort of said they're not going to do a live action. I thought that was slightly interesting because I kind of thought that must have maybe been a bit of a, I don't know, kick in the teeth.
Well, I actually think it's a good move, because I fear Netflix will milk it dry if they get their way, and I think the creators need to be strong and say no live action, we'll do a sequel, but do not milk this thing dry.
I mean, I agree. I think the animation, every now and again somebody brings out a new style of animation that's really cool and a little bit different. I think the stuff they've been doing is fabulous. There's another series on Netflix, Blue Eyed Samurai, and that's another. It's nothing to do with singing or K-pop, but it's another anime series that is absolutely brilliant. It's
I'll look out for that one as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really good. The trouble with that one is it's a brilliant story, but the minute it finished, they sort of said, "Oh, it's going to be 3 years before you're going to see the next part."
Yeah.
So I would say hold off for another year and then watch the next one. So.
Just to finish on the Frozen story, because I have to tell you this, right? It's very quick, don't worry. So my eldest daughter is obviously, she's in uni now, right? So she would have been 7, I think, when Frozen was out, maybe 7 or 8. So anyway, whatever, right? So her flatmate, the girl who's been her best mate for the last 3 years or so at uni, is called Elsa. And, and when she comes over here, I just can't help it. I'll just go and I'll say Elsa, and she knows, she gets it all the time, right? She's like,
as long as you don't come in the room and go, "Do you want to
I do. I've done that. I've done all of that, and she goes, "Yeah." Just
oh my God.
Let it go.
Well, Harrison's got to that stage where, like, the funny stuff that I used to say in front of his mates that he used to think was good, and he's now like just you can see it in his face. He's just like, Dad, just shut up.
That's one of the great things about being a dad, is doing that stuff. A few benefits that we get. That's one of them.
FOAD.
There you go.
I think it's hilarious and cool, and they think it's not hilarious and not cool.
Who cares what they think? Brilliant.
Right, thank you very much for tonight. This has been great fun. So we'll do this again soon, and it's been really nice to have you back. And thank you for listening, and we hope you've enjoyed it. And we'll catch you next time on Who Corner to Corner podcast. TTFN.
By next time, hopefully, Jeff, you'll have the master,
and then we can talk about it later on.
Daleks.
Die, Doctor, die.
I still love the noise that Dalek cannon makes. It's kind of that. you know, that huge beat.
Yeah, it's
sort
good.
of boom.